We have Dikusha asking, if the current 5-year presidential term did not create rotational presidency, how will the 7-year term do so? And he says this is what an illogical opinion coming from our panelist here. I think this is Dikusha as well. We have Jacob Abere Mtelele saying, listening to the conversation about referendum, facts and fictions are open. The F.O. Kango Punguza has a wait and sell point. Only that the so-called lack of political heavyweight support, and that is why we see the PR machines rampooning. I've never even read that particular word, it's a new word. Okay, and then we have Jonathan Koriata saying no MPs will support the referendum if the Punguza Mizigo is a puzzle, and unless Raila Odinga supports it. We have also Moses Giduga saying capping of salaries on constitution is ill advised. I cannot support that. The reactions there on Twitter. Right, Herman, you want to react on that?
Yeah, well, I think what we are saying here is simple. That even at the point of raising those signatures, there are people who are seeing a hand behind. Because the kind of resources you need, Alice has said, well, the big boys can marshal the signatures over a weekend. Actually, what she's saying, they have the resources and they have the power and everything. So for somebody, Mansolo, like Ekuru Aukot, he will not convince many Kenyans that he did this thing with his own resources. And therefore, perhaps if the same people pushing him will push him further, he could go up to some level, because the kind of infrastructure you need to mount a national campaign of this nature is mind-boggling. And I'm sure Ekuru Aukot, even if there's a hand behind him, that hand will have to become visible at some point. So it is not possible. And in any case, if the people don't want you to have that, even if it went to the vote, if they can steal Raila's vote, what is Ekuru's vote? I'm not saying anybody has stolen anybody's vote, but I'm saying if they could rob Raila's victory. In other words, what I'm trying to say, unfortunate as it may be to many Kenyans, because there are many people who are excited with this bill. I said so on some video somewhere, and many people have hit at me. They are not distinguishing between what could be right and what might not see light of day. What I'm saying, it could be exciting to many people. But we are equally this morning saying, Kenya iko na wenyewe. The owners will have to decide finally whether this bill sees the light of day.
But we need to actually come out from such kind of mentality.
That's what people are saying, and I agree with them.
Yeah, that Kenya iko na wenyewe, and they are the people who actually determine also the political trajectory of this country.
It's one thing to say we shouldn't move in that. Look here, my friend.
But where is the power of a constitution?
Ours may be primitively so. But I think world over, there's always the deep state. When somebody goes to the White House, it may not be his sole initiative. No. There are forces in America that ensure so-and-so becomes president and so doesn't become. Sometimes they fail. The deep state is a reality globally. There are people who have interest in the state, and they cannot just allow Alice Wahome to become president of this country if you threaten their interests. So equally, we are saying on this morning.
So when you talk about the democracy, it's just a fad.
It's always a fad, and I've said it many times.
It's just a fad that we actually trying to push democracy.
There's no democracy.
And already that has been cast in stone. Who will be the leader of this country because of a deep state?
Let's make it clear. Let me make it clear for you to you and for the viewers. The modern state, as currently constituted, and I've said it before here, is something put in place by a few people so that they may enjoy whatever the state has to offer in terms of resources, power and resources. It is never in the interest of the common man. Whenever the interest of the common man has come to the fore, it has always been that rare moment when a visionary leader takes up, rarely even through the ballot. The people who have transformed their societies are people we have come to call benevolent dictators. They took over power by force, and they happen to have had a vision like Gaddafi, like Fidel Castro, and even Lenin, and people like those.
Kagame.
Americans may not be happy with this, but that's the truth. It is rare that through the ballot, through democracy, you will elect people whose interest is the people. It's not always the case. It's very difficult. In any country, the deep state, the politicians control the state for their own purposes.
Okay, so why
the election outcomes reflect that philosophy and that ideology.